Okay, so I was making this video yesterday, and about a little ways through it, I was like, you know what? There's some more things I want to add to this. So I'm back recording it today. So, um, this is gonna detail dreams, mostly death, rebirth, and Jesus, and 45. And something I think I've deciphered from 17, um, and which leads to the second coming or rebirth, as I've been trying, or the age of Aquarius, what I've been waiting for. Alright, so the first dream that I'm going to talk about, and these that I'm telling you the first two happened really close together, and the third one I'm telling you about kind of happened maybe a year or two apart. So the first one, it was in third person. You know, I was looking at myself, and it was kind of like a movie in a way. And I saw myself young, and then I kind of saw myself going through a lot of suffering. And then there was this break-even point where it was like I was reborn in a way, to where because in the picture I also saw me aging, but then I saw myself start to appear younger, and that was kind of odd in a way, and it was kind of like a rebirth to kind of like who I was. Um, like I lost my way and then came back, or something of that nature. It was, and a lot of the in one of the screenshots I remember I felt like I lost everything, which was kind of like something that I went through just recently. Although I would say that maybe I've went through that more than once, probably about 3 times, maybe 4 that I can count, to where I've lost everything and then kind of came back. So then, hold on, hold on. For some reason my computer kind of froze a little bit, so I'm kind of wondering if it's recording or not. Okay, so I'm back. I don't know if what I said was recorded, but my computer just kind of froze really, really strangely. Um, so that was the whole process of that first dream, was just looking at myself. It kind of felt very Dorian Grayish too, like maybe a part of it I was looking at, maybe it felt like a painting of just and it kind of showed me regress and then reappear. And then the next dream was really, really weird, because it was both first person and third person. I was on my deathbed. I was in a hospital in the ER, and I was really confused because they said I had AIDS, and I knew that I didn't have AIDS, or at least from what I knew of reality, I didn't have AIDS, and that I was dying of it. And the doctors were in like full out viral gear, like their entire body was covered in protective equipment, PPE. Um, and they were looking at me like I was fixing to die, and I could kind of feel it too, like I started losing my breath. And even they kept telling me to try and hang on there, that they're that I should be able to pull through, or at least stay alive a little bit longer. and then I just died. And I saw my body briefly in third person before I came back to life. And when I came back to life, the doctors looked shocked, like I wasn't supposed to make it. And they said, "You're the cure to end all things." Now, whether or not that's true, time will tell. I'm not here to claim that I'm the almighty cure to it all. But I do have some good knowledge to share. And then comes to my third dream that I'm going to talk about today. And that had to do with a talk with Jesus, which was kind of weird because it was first person and third person again. When I was talking to Jesus, I don't really know much of what we said because that was in third person. And the interesting thing was it was near a water fountain. And we were talking like we were just like best friends. And he was sitting at the edge of the water fountain. And I was sitting right there, just maybe a foot apart from him. And I saw us talking. It was moving like a like a picture, like a movie picture, again, and it was extremely odd because I couldn't really hear what he was telling me until I came into first person view, which again was very strange. It was kind of like I was there looking at me and Jesus talk, and then all of a sudden, boom, and he had the Bible with him, and he pointed to Genesis, and he said, "And God said, let there be light." And I woke up at that moment too. So that was a really, really interesting dream, especially with the water fountain. It's kind of like a symbol for the water of life. And in reality, that really, really could have been my rebirth right there. As in to where, I mean, for the longest time, I've had a lot of knowledge. I've always searched for meaning and probably in odd ways that most people normally wouldn't. And what I've come to the conclusion about a lot of things these days is that I necessarily don't need a book or to go out and search for it. I can sit and meditate and understand that knowledge because there is a collective consciousness that you can tap into. It's not easy to do, but I feel like humanity is going in that direction, which will bring me to the next video that I will probably do will be what I see the upcoming future as, in which I'll do a brief overlay of a little bit of this future, and then what I'm shooting for is I'm gonna go through the events of this future, and then what I'm looking at is the year 2030. 2030 is an important year. But now this leads me back to 45 and 17, and something I figured out, or I think that I figured out. I don't know. Like I've always said, time tells all things, and it's really, really hard writing a novel in real time, and there's just so many perspectives to really understand. So, the election. Okay, so November 3rd was the election, which was the day after the Day of the Dead. Okay? And what's interesting about that too is, let's see here, you're just outside of Libra, and you're into Scorpio. But think about Libra going into the election before you get to Scorpio. The scales that it weighs are the sun, and so when we vote, we're voting in Scorpio, which is death, the sun dying, and eventually the sun does die. Symbolically. I think like December 22nd or the 23rd is when it reaches its lowest point, or the 25th, and then it rises, for 3 days, something like that. I'd have to relook at everything, but in other words, it's like a downfall. And I remember saying something back then that I said everything will appear dead. Well, after that point, after November 3rd, things did appear to die, very, very strangely. And then things were going to happen by season, light, heat, and fall, or something of that nature, something related to that nature. Well, if you think about it, the water fountain symbolizes Aquarius, what I was just kind of talking about, the water bearer. It's bringing you to the gateway. It is the gateway. It's the water of life. And after Aquarius, going into Pisces, people were kind of still asleep. And we are in the age of Pisces. And so a lot of people are asleep. And we're going into the age of Aquarius. And they're drinking that fountain of life. And they're waking up to a lot of things that they didn't realize when they were asleep. And so it's let's see, you had Capricorn was there. So around Pisces coming into Aries was when people kind of started noticing things, that there might be life, there might be hope. Well, we're still kind of heading into that, and we're coming into the heating part, where the friction is going to begin. So pride comes before the fall. A group of lions is called the pride. Leo the lion. Astrology. Jesus was born in Bethlehem, which was the house of bread, which represents a Virgo. And in ancient Egypt, a Virgo was a symbol for the harvest. And Mary was the virgin, and Jesus was born in Virgo. Now, take that as you want to take that, but the real meaning to what I mean by Jesus was born in Virgo kind of leads up to what I'm saying. So, if pride, Leo, comes before the fall, Virgo, after Leo comes Virgo, then the rebirth or the return will happen in Virgo, August or September. And my guess is within the first 2 weeks of September, light, heat, fall. By season it will come. It's what I wrote on Twitter. So basically what that's meaning is Mike Lindell might be right that, it may be August, but it may be September too. When we're talking about everything going back into place and being how it was. And that's kind of what I'm deciphering right now. Which would make sense, because I'm not the only one who said that. And everything's coming up to that shocking moment and everything like that. So, have hope and everything like that. But just remember, this is all for a novel. And you believe what you want. I'm just the passenger writing this story. So, I thought I'd just kind of leave you with that, I feel like everything's coming close. And, we're all just characters in this play. But don't fret. There's no need to fret. for one, I mean, there's no need to worry or fear. Fear just causes death. I mean, it really does. There is no life in fear. There is no life in worry. And your body stops growing when you fear or worry. So your best bet is to not fear or worry, no matter what the situation is, because you won't be able to think properly. Um, and it's a life living in fear is not a life worth living. You don't want to live your life in fear. Uh, Nothing good will good things don't come out of fear. Great things come out of love. But I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm probably talking too much, and I don't want to give the background and everything away about the story, the novel, the characters in the play. But the first novel will not be about this time. The first novel takes place like a long, long time ago. But the third book kind of shows a glimpse of this. But, and that is a story yet to be told. And I'm on the query writing part, so I'm almost there. And hopefully, I get an agent and a publisher, and nobody has to wait for me to um, do my own publishing thing, because that might take some time, because I'm writing a dissertation and balancing the two is kind of hard. It's not easy being cheesy. So have a good one, and I hope everybody's doing good out there, and my thoughts are out to you all.